guys, you're listening to Confessions of a Gym Rat, getting you through the 9 to 5 as healthily and happily as possible. If you are watching on YouTube, you are going to see that I am in a little bit of a different scenario or setting, I should say. And what I mean by that is, yes, I am still in my normal room. I am home, all is well, but I'm ugly sitting on my floor right now. Listen, I just can't get, like, the way that I've set up, I kind of have to hunch over. It's fine. But my camera decided to die because I decided not to charge it this week, and I am leaving for Florida at like 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. I'm recording this on Friday. So it was either this happens now or this doesn't happen at all. And I've been really good at trying to get you guys stuff on YouTube, and I got my makeup on and I look good. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to sit on the floor this week. And it's going to be okay because it's still me. Anyway, I have a lot to talk to you guys about this week. First of all, I know that I've normally been doing guests every other week, but I don't have one on this week. It's just things with scheduling and like when people were available and stuff. It just didn't work out to have one for this week. So you're stuck with me. But then again, I suppose that that's what you expect when you listen to my podcast. So I'm just getting comfortable here on the floor. I have a lot that I want to talk about this week. And I know that I went on for an extended period of time last week on this, but I decided that I'm not done talking about Raquel's interview with Bethany, but I swear it's with good reason. Okay. So don't yell at me. I went through and I knew that people were going to talk about it this week and podcasts were going to come out. I listened to Chicks in the Office talk about it. But more importantly, I first listened to Lala's episode on Give Them Lala. I tried to listen to Stassi talk about it on Straight Up with Stassi, but whoever her friend was, I think her name was Taylor, whoever her friend was that was on the podcast was so extremely annoying. Like, somebody needs to tell her to just tone it down because it's not enjoyable to listen to on a podcast. So I couldn't get through all of that. But then today, Sheena had Ariana on Shenanigans, and that was the best one of them yet, because I told you guys my initial opinions and reactions last week, and I didn't know what was true. I didn't know what was not true. And as time passed, it turns out that there were still a lot of lies that were told. Lies on Raquel's part saying, oh, me and Ariana weren't close. I wasn't making any money, like stuff that was proven, like Sheena or Lala stole the house that Sheena was going to buy, stuff like that, basically all disproved individually by these different people over the past week. But the reason why I wanted to bring it up was really the stuff that Ariana talked about. I feel like she's been fairly quiet as to how she's actually like coping and feeling during this time. And this is the most I've heard her talk about it. Like, obviously we saw the way that she reacted in the reunion, and I thought that it was awesome. She came on Sheena's podcast and was like, listen, what if I saw her today, if I saw her a month later, would I have called her a delusional, demented, subhuman, whatever? Probably not. But in the moment, you know, she knew she wasn't going to see her again. She was very angry. It was very fresh. She said some hurtful things, but who has not said hurtful things to other people before? And Stassi actually brought that up on her podcast. Like, she was like, listen, I've been that person. I've said those things. I've done those things. It's just the heat of the moment. Like, everyone is capable of that. And given Ariana's stance, like, I don't think it should be like something that people are massively focusing on. I had brought it up, like, I didn't like this subhuman, like, you're worth nothing thing. And I think she gets that. Like, okay, I flew out the handle. It's bad that I said that on national television. obviously, given the circumstances, she had no control like over her emotions, really. What I didn't like was the whole Raquel basically painted Ariana as like a villain and talked about Ariana when Ariana didn't do anything wrong to anybody. Like, she said it perfectly in Sheena's podcast. She goes, "Can I be moody? Sure. Can I have high anxiety? Sure. Can I be a bitch when I want to be a bitch? Sure. We all can. We all have those problems. It's part of being human. It's not a reason to cheat." And by Raquel bringing up Ariana during Bethany's podcast was just a way of being like, yeah, I'm not remorseful. I'm actually just going to shit all over Ariana. But less on the actual drama of like what happened and more of what Ariana had said during Sheena's podcast really resonated with me. And I wanted to recap it here with you guys because I think that we could all stand to like just listen to it and just understand. You guys know I've had a long, hard battle with my mental health. I think a lot of it stems from things that have happened in my life that like I don't really need to get into, just whatever. But I have had these periods, and I'm doing a lot better now, by the way, before I get into this. But I have been in that place where it's kind of just like you just do not feel like you're worth anything, and the people that you love, the people close to you, keep hurting you, and you're kind of left to be like, well, why are the people that I love and the people that are supposed to be loving me hurting me? Like, how can somebody do this to me? Am I that disposable? And that's what she kind of brought up. Like, Raquel went on Bethany's podcast and basically said, we are nothing but coworkers. We are just two people who work together. We do not hang out outside of work. And Ariana said, you know what? That actually really hurts and upsets me because she would let her stay at her house when she didn't have a place to live. They went to music festivals together. Basically it was a lie. They have hung out. And she kind of said like, oh, I was just using her to get like closer to Tom. And Ariana was like, you know what? That really sucks because to me, that was a real friendship. And she kind of was just in that place of, how could my partner of 10 years do this to me? How could a person who's supposed to be in my inner circle do this to me? Like, why am I so easy to hurt? You know, why don't people consider my feelings? So I really feel for her in that stance. And it's a hard thing to bring to light and to actually speak on and make yourself vulnerable, because I think coming out and talking about that like publicly puts you in a position for all the haters and awful people on the internet to then go and prey on your weakness and hit you where it hurts. But I guess that's also a part of it. And just, you know, knowing, like for me, it's if I know you and you say something to me that's hurtful, like that'll actually hurt me. If you say something rude and what's intended to be hurtful, but you're user 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't care. I'll just scroll next. But I liked that she brought that up because I thought that it was super important, and it's her right to speak on this. And I know what that struggle feels like. I know what that loneliness feels like, and it just kind of broke my heart a little bit. But she said one more thing that really, really resonated with me, and I wanted to bring it up because if any of you guys are in a situation like this, I'm screaming from the top of my lungs to abort. Get out. Move on. You will be so much better, so much happier. A weight will be lifted off your shoulders, even if it does not feel like it immediately. She said that she feels so much lighter. She sleeps so much better now, not having to worry about like without Tom sleeping in her bed, because she would make herself sick with anxiety, wondering why is it 2:00 in the morning and he's not home. He said he was going to be at 12. Why isn't he here yet? When is he going to come home? What's he doing? Stalking social, seeing if he's posting anything, checking his location, making herself sick over it. And I, hand up, have been that girl. My last relationship was I'll just be honest, it was really bad. It was pretty awful. and I was suspicious that I was being cheated on, and it turns out I was correct. And um, it's just, you have that gut feeling, that's like something's not right. Like this is, you could just tell. And I think she had that gut feeling. And it's like, I would sit there and my phone volume would be on loud because I'd be like, oh, okay, like I hope he texts me when he's back home. Otherwise, like, what else is he doing? Or in the next morning, like, why haven't I heard from him? Or when is he going to come home? Who's he hanging out with? All that kind of stuff will really just make you sick. And it's super, super toxic and unhealthy to be in. So I loved that she said that because I really, really, really related to that. Um, so if you're in a situation, like, you kind of just got to step back and think to yourself, like, you may have good times, you might love this person, like he might make you laugh, blah, blah, blah. If there's more bad than good, you are doing yourself a disservice. You'll be so much better off alone. And it sucks and it takes time, and you're going to be sad at first, and letting go of somebody that you love is super, super hard. But like, the people that we love will not put us through stuff like that. Like, I will never put myself back in a position to be like that again. Like, since that relationship ending, my anxiety has reduced a ton because I knew that bad things were happening. Like, I pretty much knew it, and I was right at the end. Not having to worry about that was such a relief on me. So that one hit hard. Hopefully that doesn't hit hard with you, because that would be a shame. But if it does, run, girl. Run. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about on that. Otherwise, I could seriously probably go on for another half hour talking about Raquel and Ariana and all that. All I'm going to say is, if you're very interested, I would definitely listen to at least Sheena's podcast, because a lot of truth has come out. And if you're shitting on Ariana, maybe just take a step back and reevaluate there. I don't know. Personally, I just resonate with her a lot because I don't know, like, I know her struggles with her mental health and stuff as well as anybody else does that saw her on TV. Like, obviously I don't know her on a personal level, but in some way I've found her to be relatable. So I really value her opinions and all that. But yeah. Anyway, how was my week? You know what, guys? I have a story for y'all. This is quite like going back on the mental health talk and all that. You get a load of this one. And I'm going to preface this by saying this is not the first time that I've been in this situation, which is bizarre. But luckily for me, I have an excellent therapist, and I am medicated, and I know my self-worth because of my work with my therapist. I'm going to tell this story in kind of an incognito way, because I don't want to, like, the goal of me telling this to you is literally just to share my experience with you, and maybe you'll find some entertainment out of it. It is not for you to spread hate to someone or like go bashing someone. And I don't want to give away any like identifying details. So I'm just going to say that I was out on, what was it, Saturday? Went out last Saturday, and I met up with one of my friends, and we were hanging out like at the bar. There's like a group of us. And it was like, it was like a guy friend. I often find myself hanging with the dudes because it's less drama. Anyway, that was a joke, by the way. Anyway, so we're chilling, we're at the bar, whatever. And then like, I just knew like this one person in the group. So he's like, oh, I'm going to step out. Like my friend wants me to step out for a second. So I was like, oh, well, I'll follow you because I don't know anybody else really that, like, there was one girl that I knew there, but I just like didn't feel 100% confident. So I was like, I'm going to follow you out. So we go out of the bar, and his friend's like begging him, like, come on, like, let's go. And I'm kind of getting this whole like dudes only vibe, like not girl welcome. And like, I don't ever want to be that girl to any of my guy friends that's like intruded. Like, there's sometimes where I just want to be with the girls, and sometimes boys just want to be with the boys, and you just don't want the other gender there. It's fine. It's whatever. So we're standing in the parking lot now, and I'm like to my friend, should I go? And his friend, who I've never met before, never seen this kid in my life, couldn't even, like, I'm trying to keep this anonymous on purpose, but I couldn't even tell you his name because I'm not sure. But his friend looks at me and he's hammered, like absolutely obliterated, and goes, yeah, you should. And my friend's like, all right, whoa, like, let's not get rude here. And he's like, well, someone's got to tell her because she can't take a hint. Go back inside. There's plenty of people you could talk to there. So now I'm getting a little like, all right, you don't talk to me that way. I was getting the hint, that this was like not a time for me to be here. So that's why I asked. And you could have just been like, I really want to be with my boy right now. Like, would you like, can you meet up with us later? Whatever. Just say it in a nice human way. So I whip my head around because now I'm pissed off. And I'm like, who do you think you're talking to? And he comes back and is like, who do you think you're talking to? Look at you. Looks me up and down, full body scan, like head to toe, and just looks at me and goes, you're disgusting. Take that nose ring out of your nose. Like, who do you think you are? You're absolutely repulsive. I am shocked. Like, I didn't even know what to say at first. My friend is mortified. He's like, you cannot speak to anybody that way. And I'm just like, well, good thing I don't find you attractive. And he's like, good thing I don't find you attractive. You're literally disgusting. Ew, I would never even touch you. So my friend, like, starts yelling at him, tells him to walk away, whatever. He ends up coming back like a few minutes later, apologizes, and then comes at me like a whole second time. I'm just going to pause for dramatic effect. When I tell you that this is not the first time that this has happened to me, it's bizarre. It's actually verbal assault. Okay. And that kind of tied, like, it just got me thinking, like, with Raquel last week when I was talking about how she was like, oh, I got verbally assaulted by Ariana and stuff. And I know there's different degrees to assault and whatnot. I just felt like, you did something horrible to this girl. Not that Ariana should have said what she said, but you guys were having a conversation. It was part of reality television, and you also had an 8-month affair with her life partner. Her words were mean, but what did you expect? And it kind of pissed me off because I somehow end up in these situations where I'm standing in a bar minding my own goddamn business and get verbally assaulted out of nowhere. Like, I do not know this kid. I don't even think I spoke to him before this happened. So I don't want to hear it from the mistress. Okay. But yeah. Could you imagine speaking to another human that way? I swear, like, I can't make this stuff up, guys. It used to happen to me all the time. My ex's roommate would physically pull me aside in the bar. I think the last time we spoke, he pulled me aside in the bar and was like, your arms are disgusting. And I was just like, okay. I've been called the C word. I've been told to kick buckets, all that kind of stuff before. And it's not a good feeling. And luckily for me, I'm in a much, much better mental space right now. I've worked a lot on my relationship with myself. But I guess this is a PSA and a reminder that even if you don't think that you're like necessarily going anything, therapy can be beneficial to everyone, because I wasn't expecting this to happen, but I'm sure glad that I had my therapist to follow through when it did. Because then I had a meltdown in my car, but then I got over it. So it's fine. Listen, like I said before, I can take it. I know that putting myself out there on the internet, like, I am susceptible to hate. There's always going to be people that I can't control. And most of the time it's like, you hear people say like, oh, they would never, like, don't let it bother you. These people would never say that to your face. The sad part though, is that, like, I probably have gotten nastier things said to my face than I have online. So that's not good. But yeah, I'm sorry. If you have a friend that speaks like that, put them in check and maybe tell them not to drink alcohol, because that's super, super embarrassing. But we're okay. We bounced back. We're not dwelling on it. We're not going to be upset about it. And that's kind of why I posted this week, you know, you can have a bad mental health day, just like you can have a bad workout. Things will go wrong. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but it doesn't mean that you have to regress back into like this old version of yourself that you hate. Just because I was upset and it brought up a lot of triggering things for me didn't mean I was going to sit there and dwell on it all week and let my anxiety overtake me and just put myself back in that place. Just because I have a bad workout or I'm short on time or whatever, and I haven't burned the calories I want to burn, God forbid, doesn't mean that I'm going to gain 10 pounds overnight. It doesn't mean I'm going to revert back to that girl that I hated when she was 17, you know? So that's just a nice little reminder. I got a little, I knew I was going to get deep, but I had to. I was like, you know what? If shit like this is going to happen to me, I'm going to talk about it on the podcast, because it's got to, there's got to be some good out of it. So hopefully that was an entertaining story for you. I will not be taking my nose ring out, and I do not think that I am gross. I actually think that I am a good-looking human being. I don't care if that's cocky, but sometimes you need to remind yourself that when people tell you you are disgusting after looking you up and down, head to toe. Anyway, that's really it. I've been super, super busy with work this week, so I haven't really gotten time to watch too much TV. I continued on with The Sopranos, and then I took a little bit of a break just because that shit's heavy. So I did finish season 1 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because I cannot get enough of Lisa and Vanderpump and Ken Todd and Jiggy, R.I.P. Love that. I did continue watching Only Murders in the Building, which is awesome because we got more spotlight from Jesse Williams this week. But that's about it. I didn't really do too much this week because I've been super busy, but I've rambled on for long enough. So let's get moving with this week's episode. I got still so much more to talk to you about, starting with our weekly highlights. Okay, I just want to say that in between like the time that I stopped recording that first segment to right now, which was a total of like 1 minute, I got a phone call from an unknown number, which I never pick up. Let's be real. Do you pick up unknown phone numbers? Because I don't, unless I'm sure that it's like someone from work that I don't have their phone number. But I just got a very angry voicemail from someone that I don't know. I think that they contacted the wrong person, but they were pissed off. And it was like, hi, it's so-and-so from DHL. I'm trying to get into your gated community. We did this the other day. Call me back. And now I don't know what to do because I feel like she's waiting a response from my phone number, but not from me. Like, I guess if she tries to call me again, then I'll pick it up and be like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. My community isn't gated. Gosh, some people, it's like, all right with the tone and the sass. You're annoyed because she's not picking up, but you didn't call her. You called me. Okay? Anyway, let's get into this week's highlights. I've been listening to some other podcasts, and I realized that other people are calling these like much more fun things. Like, what's your wane and wax of the week, or your ache and your relief? But I'm just going to call them highlights. And honestly, I don't like talking about the bad parts because I'm like, I don't want to dwell on that. I'll tell you guys the unfortunate things that happened to me in the beginning, but I'm not going to sit there and harp on it, But if I guess, for the sake of the conversation, if I was going to pick a low light, it would definitely be that incident, the one that we just talked about. Anyway, my health and fitness related highlight was definitely the fact that I did the Ally Love Midnight's ride on the Peloton this week. Back in the office. I didn't go last week because I was away in Chicago, but I have been taking part of my lunch to go downstairs into the building next door and go on the Peloton. You guys know this. I've talked about this. It never occurred to me. It only occurred to me because I was looking through my badges. I'm super competitive. So any of those fitness platforms that have like things that you can win and badges you can collect, or I'm all for that. Like with my Apple Watch, when it says like, oh, you won this challenge or you just set a new record or whatever, I live for that stuff. I love it. I love going to the next level. It's like a game almost. People respond really well to that. But Peloton's like the same way. So you get different medals or whatever you want to call them for different achievements. Like, okay, I don't do it that often because I don't have a Peloton myself. It's just the one in my office, but I completed 15 rides, but the next milestone, like I don't get a, whatchamacallit, I don't get a medal until I hit 25. So that'll be the next one. But I was looking through my medals and I saw that I had one because I did the Red Taylor's version ride, which was part of a whole event they were doing. So then I was like, oh, I wonder if they did anything for Midnights. And sure enough, they did. And it was awesome. It was the quickest half hour of my life. I was dying, but it also felt so nice at the same time. But there was a point where she was like, all right, I want you to be in between like 49 to 60, whatever, at a 90 like cadence. And I was like, no. So I'm sorry, no. So I did kind of fall back on that one. But listen, Allie, it was not happening. It wasn't happening. Either way, though, so much fun. I'm debating. I think I'm going to I'm going to download the app and see if there's any free things like without the bike that I can explore. Because I can log in on the bike and it's fine. But if you want like the app, you got to pay for all the other stuff. But I don't want to do that. Yeah, but that's my health and fitness related highlight. What's my non-health and fitness related highlight? Maybe I should have thought about this. Wow. Oh, you know what my non-health and fitness related highlight is? I spent a full workday on the beach on Sunday. I was there from like 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. I was in and out of the water like a goddamn fish. The waves were nice and easy. The water was a great temperature, which of course only happens in mid-August in New Jersey. And then people stop going to the beach in September. Super unfortunate. But I was in and out of that water so many times like a goddamn fish. And it felt so freaking good. Nothing, guys, seriously, there is little that makes me happier than that feeling when you come up from underwater and your hair is all slicked back and the sun shining and the water feels so refreshing. God, I wish it wasn't raining today. Now I'm getting upset. But yeah, that's definitely my highlight of the week. So as always, I encourage you guys to think of 2 small little things. It could be as simple as you got outside or you got a coffee on your way to work. Something happened that you're happy about this week. So think on that and we're going to chug on along. Okay, I forgot to tell you guys a story that I wanted to mention during the intro this week. Hold on, let me fix this camera over here. Okay, now we're a little bit better. So I don't know if I told you guys this, but at the Jonas Brothers concert, Lauren and I decided to just order merch online. Like they were doing this thing where they were like, oh, scan this QR code. You could just order concert merch here instead of waiting on the like 1 line or 2 lines they had for merch, which were extremely long. And honestly, after spending like an hour and a half of my life doing that for Taylor Swift, I was like, sure, we're going to do that. It's just something is like, it's something so different about not walking away from the concert with a t-shirt. So I'm waiting for this shit to come in the mail. I'm super excited because I got a shirt that's like specifically for the concert I went to. Like they were supposed to do like a 1 night only at Yankee Stadium and I got tickets for it. And then they were like, psych, we're doing 2 nights. Oh, psych, we're actually doing a whole tour. So that's like what the premise of the shirt. And I'm really, really excited for it to come. But I was waiting this week to see if my Petula stuff came because Petula is having a new launch. I guess I'll plug it right here. They are launching a new collection, the Grab and Go capsule, on Thursday, August 31st. I'm actually, if you're looking on YouTube, I'm wearing the Sierra leggings and the ribbed crop tank from that launch. It's super comfortable and I will probably never take it off. But I've been saying a lot of ums. I'm sorry. I was waiting for that to come. And I wanted to see, like, because they'll send me some stuff. So I was like, okay, what didn't I get? So I can order, like, the rest of the stuff. So I'm at work. I'm at the office. I text my brother. I'm like, hey, are you home? He's like, yeah. I'm like, can you go to the mailbox and just see if there's any packages or anything? So he's like, yeah, sure. So he's like, oh, there's something for you. So I'm thinking it's this. I'm like, which, spoiler alert, it did come later that day. So when I got home from work, it was there. But this was earlier. It was like 11 in the morning. And he was like, yeah, something's there. So I was like, well, what is it? And he's like, Jonas Brothers shirt. So I'm like, hell yeah. It came. I immediately text Lauren. I'm like, Lauren, it came. Because she's on vacation. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get home and to wear it. I'm like, I'm going to wear it to work tomorrow. I'm so excited. Because whenever I get new clothes, I have to wear them like immediately. Fast forward, the whole day comes and goes. I get home, I walk inside, and on the kitchen table is my Jonas Brothers shirt. But it's not the shirt that I thought it was. The week before, I had gone on Etsy and ordered something off Etsy, which honestly, I need to find out how to like block Etsy from my computer because it's such a dangerous space for me. It's probably worse than Marshall's. I could have a fucking field day on Etsy. Like, God. Anyway, I decided to order this I Heart Hot Dads shirt that has a picture of the Jonas Brothers underneath. Because I was like, hell yeah, it's on sale and I'll just wear it to the next concert that I go to. And then I got an email from Etsy like right afterwards. I was like, oh, this store is no longer selling items. Like we'll submit a claim and we'll refund you. So I'm like, all right, this is probably a sign from the good Lord that I should not have this t-shirt. So I fill out the claim, whatever. They're like, all right, your refund's being processed, whatever. By the grace of God, it came. I don't know how. I don't know who. I don't know why. But it came. And it just wasn't the shirt that I wasn't expecting to come home and see I Heart Hot Dads sitting on my table. But I guess I got refunded for it. So I guess it's no money well spent. I don't know. Either way, it's a sick shirt. But yeah, it's just imagine like thinking you're coming home to a concert t-shirt. And I was like, my first words out of my mouth were, oh, I can't wear this to work tomorrow. Oh no. Anyway, something I wanted to talk to you guys about. And I'm kind of pissed that I didn't talk about this earlier, but me and my old roommate were texting about this last night. And I was like, holy crap, I need to bring this up on the podcast. And it is the girl dinner trend. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's a joke. I think it's really terrible. If you've not been on like TikTok or Instagram, the whole girl dinner trend is basically like a random mix of snacks or like a bag of pretzels or something, and people like joking like, oh, this is how girls eat dinner, or like a girl would be getting ready to go to the bar and she's like, girl dinner, and it's like a sleeve of crackers or something. And what's actually scaring me is like how many likes and comments that these things are getting, and that the fact that people are making this because they're like, LOL, relatable. I'm like, does anybody see a problem with this? I don't think it's funny to make, like, listen, I make fun of myself all the time. I make jokes on TikTok, but not to the point, like, I'm not going to sit here and make jokes about the fact that I've had depression, you know? Like, I'll bring it up, I'll talk about it, but I'm not going to sit here and, like, make a ton of jokes about it without the disclaimer. Like, say I make, like, a funny TikTok about it, I'll put in the caption disclaimer, like, I have been working on this and, like, I'm in a much better space now, and I know that this is serious. I've seen it with my friends. Like we'll go out to the bars and they're like, I haven't eaten today, or they'll be eating like pretzels for dinner, and I'm like, this isn't funny, nor is it a good habit. Like as humans need to be eating 3 meals a day. So I just don't think this trend is funny. I think if you're participating in it, it's actually kind of embarrassing because you should be eating. And the whole way that this sparked this was my friend saw a post that was like, when everybody's posting girl dinner, but you can't relate because you eat like a horse every night. And I'm like, how about you can't relate because you just eat like a normal human being? Having grapes and crackers for dinner is not funny or sustainable, and there's really no excuse for it. And I don't think, like, especially with like there's tons of pretty people on Instagram and Twitter or not Twitter, TikTok. So I just don't think that posting about that is doing good for anyone, because there's people that really do struggle with the like eating disorders and stuff, and they're going to see you posting about it looking like a skinny little mini, and it's just going to make things worse. Also, if that's how you're really eating like your meals every day, then that's a problem and we need to fix that. Those are just my thoughts. I'm not on the bandwagon with the girl dinner trend. Girl dinner, like, hello, like, I don't know. Embarrassing. Ew, it's like embarrassing. I much rather confidently say that I do not skip meals. Okay, we do not skip meals around here. Period. End of story. So we're kind of finishing or we're going along with this whole food eating habits type of theme today. I asked you guys what were topics that you wanted to see. And if you have any more suggestions, please leave them in the reviews or on my Instagram, because obviously I want to talk about things that matter to you guys. But one of the responses I got was talking about the anabolic window and the myth. And this was something that I lived and died by when I started working out. When I started working out, I really, really, really believed that I had to have a protein shake within like 30 minutes of the end of my workout, or my whole workout was a waste and I wasn't going to gain any muscle. And that was the fattest freaking lie ever. So what the hell is the anabolic window? What is anabolic? What does that mean? In human terms, non-sciencey terms, the anabolic window just refers to the time period after you exercise that your muscles are recovering. I'll actually read you this. I pulled up this article that's from 2021. So a little, like, fairly recent, from Healthline. Or I'm sorry, it was another one. This one is from 2020. But this just says the anabolic window refers to the short time after training when your muscles are repairing and recovering. It's also called the metabolic window or protein window. So that's what people call it. So this was, research was done around like 2013, I believe, on this. And people before that had this idea that like your metabolic window, your anabolic window, whatever, was 30 minutes after your workout. And that's when you needed to get food in. Like, that's when food was going to help your muscles the most. Like, that's when you should be getting protein in because they're recovering. Otherwise, you're not optimizing your muscle gain. So you had people like me rushing to their college dorms, eating disgusting gold standard protein shakes in a blender that was obnoxiously loud because they were terrified that they would be a skinny little stick if they didn't eat within 30 minutes of their workout. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Do I eat within 30 minutes of the end of my workout on a daily basis? Yes, but the answer is, like, the reason is because I'm starving. After I exercise, I need to eat because I'm freaking hungry. I just burned a lot of calories and I want to eat food. That is the only reason. Okay? So this is from lewis.gsu.edu. While a common belief is that the anabolic window ceases within 1 hour post-exercise, evidence has suggested that this window may extend to 5 to 6 hours surrounding training. The timing of post-exercise nutrition is largely dependent on what state the individual is training in. Let's see what else it says. If exercise occurs in a fasted state, for example, the anabolic window gets much tighter compared to when someone trains in a fed state, which makes sense because in a fasted state, you have nothing, like your body's really not running on anything to help recover it. So you're going to need food. But I don't want to get too in depth and confuse you guys with a bunch of facts and a bunch of quotes, because you could just Google this and like you're not listening to my podcast, so I can go and read an article to you. But basically, it has been disproved that this anabolic window is just 30 minutes to an hour. I do suggest that you eat before and after your workouts just for the energy and making sure you're satiated and all that stuff. But as far as an actual anabolic window and when it's important to eat, 5 to 6 hours is a long time. So and if you're not eating like 5 hours after you work out, then I'm just confused. I don't know when you're eating. Let me just see if it says. Yeah, see the article that I was looking at has a lot of facts and examples and studies like with like numbers and all that. So I'm not going to bore you with that. But my job on this podcast, or one of my jobs, is I want to explain to you guys concepts and bust myths and help you learn things in a way that you can understand as a normal human being. Because I wasn't a biology major. I wasn't an anatomy major. I wasn't a chem major, none of that. So if I can understand it this way, then you should be able to understand that. So if you hear people talking about the anabolic window, they're BSing you, you're fine. Get your protein in, though, every day. Otherwise, you're not fine, and I will come for you. Okay? All right, guys. Well, that pretty much wraps up this week's episode of Confessions of a Gym Rat. I am off to Florida tomorrow, so when you listen to this, I believe I'll be at Universal. Actually, I'm doing Universal, I'm doing Disney. So pray for me that I get on the Ratatouille ride, because that will so be my highlight next week. If so. Make sure that you are giving this podcast a nice little rating. Please, that would mean the world to me if you can give me a little rating or a review. Follow Confessions of a Gym Rat on Instagram at Confessions of a Gym Rat, and subscribe to me on YouTube at Lifts with Liz, and follow me on socials at Lifts with Liz. Wish me a safe flight, and I wish you guys all the happy, healthy week. We are almost at Labor Day. Get through this week, and then we have a 3-day weekend, baby. So we're coming back in hot. Boom.